This is the Son of the Law podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the Son of the Law podcast. I'm your host, Jay Christopher, and I want to start by thanking our sponsors, Complete Auto Service in Richmond, Missouri, Cutting Edge Landscapes, Lawson, Missouri, Brandon Steffen, Mark and Amanda Guy. I love working with you guys. I'm super thankful to play your advertisements. We talk about the brand of the Son of the Law podcast. It's been a unique situation for me because getting to work with people that I know and like and trust is a unique perspective when you're thinking about advertisements. I don't normally think about it like that when I'm listening to another podcast or whatever, but working with you guys has been awesome, and my cars run great and my yard looks awesome. So, it's kind of a win-win. All right. Also want to thank all of you for supporting the show. You are why we do this. And I want you to think about that next awkward conversation pause. I was in high school one time, and somebody said when there's a awkward pause in a conversation, you think of Abraham Lincoln. So I don't know. Yeah. So now that I said that, you might be thinking, I'm going to think of Abraham Lincoln from now on. But, now you can say in the next awkward pause conversation, hey, have you listened to the Son of the Law podcast yet? All right. Also, we just request that you'd share the show across all platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or your favorite podcast player. You can find us on social, Son of the Law Podcast, on Instagram, or Son of the Law Podcast at gmail.com. Just a reminder, we drop every Monday at 6 a.m. So that drive to work is going to be ready for you, or the never miss a Monday workout is extra special. This episode is brought to you by Complete Auto Service Center. I want to share something close to home, literally. If you're anywhere near Richmond, Missouri, and your vehicle needs attention, there's a place that embodies trust and integrity, Complete Auto Service Center. I've known Mark and Amanda for years, and they make me feel like I'm part of their family. From oil changes to engine replacements, brakes to transmissions, they handle it all with professionalism and care. Their certified techs use quality parts, and they stand behind their work with a 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty. But it's more than just repairs. It's about peace of mind. It's about knowing that your vehicle is in the hands of people who value honesty and excellence. So, if you're seeking a reliable partner for your automotive needs, visit CompleteASC.com or stop by 718 Woolard Boulevard. Let them earn your trust, your business, and your friendship. Complete Auto Service Center. Complete maintenance, complete repairs, complete peace of mind. This episode is brought to you by Cutting Edge Landscapes. I've known Brandon Steffen, the owner of Cutting Edge Landscapes, for over 15 years. We've seen each other through a lot, climbed mountains together, served together, and when it came time to trust someone with my lawn, there was no question. I turned to Brandon and his team. Let me tell you, the difference after just one application was truly incredible. My yard went from weedy and full of dandelions to lush and vibrant. It was green, like really green. Also, I fought the bag system for years, never really seeing the results I wanted, but it has new life now, and that's all thanks to Cutting Edge. Cutting Edge isn't just about landscape projects either. They're about building relationships and treating your property like it's their own. Whether it's fertilization, aeration, or seasonal treatments, they tailor their services to what your lawn truly needs. With over 40 years in the business, Cutting Edge Landscape stands by their motto, "Your property is our passion." And after seeing the results firsthand, I can vouch for that. Visit callcuttingedge.com or 816-580-3343 to schedule your consultation. Your lawn will thank you. Joining me in my home this morning are Jessica Cureton and Preslee Gunther. Welcome, ladies.
Hello. Good job. Did it at the same time.
Yeah, you did at the same time in stereo.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to have you guys on the show. Are all of you on the show? You girls on the show? I don't know. I'm in this weird politically correct workplace where you can't just say you guys to you girls. And so it's like, sorry about that.
Yeah, you know.
We don't live
We
for
don't
that.
live for that.
That's fine. If this is the worst it gets, it's like, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, we're good.
We're going to be talking about mothers of preschool age children today. And they're are so many wonderful stories and life lessons that come out of raising kids at this age that I just feel like you two are right in the middle of it, living that dream. Kind of, I see the knowing smiles. We're laughing before we even get started. It's so good. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to talking. Let me introduce you first. Jessica is nicknamed Teeny because
I don't think the whole town needs to know this.
okay. Would you rather I not
No,
share?
I don't care.
I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna do it. I don't think anybody else is gonna call it you because
I hope not.
yeah.
Maybe.
You're the only one.
So that's true. People are like, did he just call you Teeny?
I know. It's awkward for other people.
It's
It's nice to watch them squirm.
It's fine. It's fine. I call Lola Bug, my daughter Bug. And there was like other people who call her Bug. She's like, I don't like it when other people call me
Yeah.
Bug. She's like, only you can call me Bug.
That'd be
Dad."
weird if somebody else called
Yeah.
me.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on there? So that story there is, you were like, how old were you when 13, I think, when I met you?
I don't know. 14. I
You
don't
weren't driving yet. I know
Yeah.
that.
know. Yeah. No,
And
it's been a minute.
and you were well, yeah, so it's Jessica Cureton, Lee Cureton's wife,
Mhm.
and the listeners of the podcast know Lee as the fun farmer.
Yes.
So
He's mine.
so yeah, Lee brought you around, and at that point we had young kids,
Mhm.
and Powell comes over to Carissa in a birthday party or whatever, and he goes, "Mom, who is that?" And and she goes, "That's Jess. That's Lee's girlfriend." And he goes, "I want to hug her." So he's like, "You can go hug her. Yeah, go. It's okay. That's fine." And anyway, we fell in love with you very early on, and so I started calling you teeny tiny, cute and cuddly, huggable, lovable baby Jessica. That was her nickname for the longest time.
What a name.
I know,
I
right?
know.
And then it just slowly,
Got
made its
too
way
long
down
to
to
spit
teeny.
out.
Too long to
Yeah,
spit
yeah.
out, and so it was like teeny. Okay, yeah. And then you were also the reason why we dropped the podcast on Mondays.
You're welcome.
Is that when you work out at 6 a.m.?
Absolutely. My one day I didn't have a podcast to listen to. That's wrong.
That's right. And I was like so worried because, we revealed on another episode that Jess is like the new Karen. Like Jess will F you up. Like
Not me personally. The name.
I don't know, Tina. You've got like
I mean, if like Mama Bear comes out, maybe, but
I just know that I'm not gonna test you.
I feel the same about you. I
Okay.
think that's why we're good friends.
It's,
I do
right.
see
We
that.
make a good team.
It's the
Don't test the
capacity.
waters.
The capacity is the thing that should be
It's
respected.
behind the silence.
the glare.
You are a wonderful mother to 3, soon to be 4 great kids, Sammy, Emmy, Lydia, and then little Chris or Christy at some point.
Yes. Whenever they make their appearance.
Yeah, we don't know
The
yet.
mystery baby.
Like you've tried that for the last 3 children. It hasn't worked for you.
Unsuccessfully, but just keep having kids and we'll keep the ruse
We'll
going
run
for
out
a
of
while.
names eventually.
Preslee, Gunther, formerly Preslee Dobson. That's when I knew you.
Mhm.
And Carissa and I were trying to talk through like when we met you. You were like what? You were 12 or 13 at our church. And at that point, when we came to Lawson, we had little mothers. We were mothers and fathers of preschool age children.
Yes. Christopher's crazy hair.
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah.
And so he's like 15 now, 14, almost 15. And you were hanging out and playing with the kids, and you were like 12 years old, and at the same time, like I could talk with you, and it felt like I was talking to an old soul. Like you just knew how to handle kids. You were happy. They liked you. My kids, they liked being around people, so it's like they weren't antisocial. But you weren't like antisocial or anything, or my kids weren't antisocial, but they really liked you. And they looked forward to spending time with you in the nursery. And it was like a really great break for us because we could drop our kids off and feel safe. And it was like, we'd go to church and it felt like a little date. Because,
I get that.
right? It's like, oh, this is right. This is okay. But I wanted to compliment you. And I don't know that I've ever even shared this with you. When talking with, Carissa, I was like, this is a great opportunity to share with her when Mariana was coming up, right? And seeing how engaging you were. I was like, I hope my kids, my girls especially, grow up to look like that at that age.
Thanks.
Yeah. And so it's kind of surreal now to sit here and talk with you. You've got your own kids, you're kind of living that own dream, right? And now we're in this weird world of, time that just keeps passing. And anyway.
now Christopher's in the nursery with our kids.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
It's wild.
All right. You are excellent mother of 3, Blakely, Jolie, and Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
We call her Millie.
Mm-hmm.
And husband, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Love Derek, my man.
Me too.
Great. Yeah, right? Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourselves and those in the Lawson community, how they might know you, and just take your time.
Take it away.
Okay, I'll go first. So yeah, I was born and raised here in Lawson.
Jessica, so we're trying to
Jessica.
work on the voices so everybody knows who's
Yes.
talking.
Jessica. Born and raised in Lawson, lived here my whole life. And then Lee and I started dating in high school. So his family's also from here. And then graduated in 2012. And then I came back and taught kindergarten for 4 years here in Lawson. So I feel like community-wise, I still get kiddos coming up to me. Like, hey, Mrs. Cureton. Like, catches me off guard for a second. I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's right. I taught you.
It seems Sammy I worked kind of for his first half of his life, or first year of his life. So 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, yeah. I feel like Cureton, a lot of people know Melvin, my father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me Lee and my son look just like him. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I know what to look forward to. Spitting images of each other.
Yeah. The Cureton family has been around a long time. Sonny Cureton, long timer here. Son Melvin, son Lee, now son Sammy coming up, spitting images of one another as you look through.
Yes. It's kind of scary actually. But yeah, otherwise, I mean.
What's something people wouldn't know about you or be surprised to discover?
I feel like because I was a teacher, and a lot of people I think in Lawson know me as a teacher, whenever I talk to those people, they're surprised that we are homeschooling now. And so that's like, I just like wait for that to come up and to drop that bomb. Also, it's like something I said I would never do. So that's kind of, people were like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, I know. I said, like, I was, even whenever I had Sammy, someone's like, oh, like, you going to stay home now? I'm like, no, I'm never staying home. Like, I have this degree. And then, homeschool kind of started being popular. And then like, oh, you going to homeschool? I'm like, no, I would never. Those people are weird. And here we are. So
You are weird.
This crow, this crow tastes fantastic. Right?
Those bunnies.
Yeah. We have plans to talk more about that on another episode. I want to follow along your homeschooling journey and the decisions that were made, right? We'll get into that. So really looking forward to that conversation in a future episode. But yeah, I do think people would find that interesting right now.
Yeah.
How about you, Preslee? Where are you from? Born and raised, and tell us about your family. And
Yeah, so I was born and raised here. I was a Dobson. Then I married Derek and became a Gunther. He was born in Chicago and then spent the beginning of his life in Florida and came to Missouri. So he didn't get here until 2nd grade, I think. So, I mean, not that much time. But we met when we were in elementary school, but started dating in high school. He says we dated in 4th grade, but
what is dating?
No joke.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but we started dating in high school and have been together ever since. So that's nice. Everybody knows my dad, Brian, and everybody at our church knows my mom, Dina, because she's just sweet as can be. But there's not too much exciting from my side.
I love it.
From Lawson, came back.
What is something people wouldn't know about you or would be surprised to discover about you?
I'm an open book, so I just spew everything out, and there's probably not much people don't know.
Yeah, we'll use the edit function potentially. Huh?
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
I want to have lots of kids. I don't know.
You don't like coffee?
Oh, yeah. I feel like most people know that because everybody's like, you want coffee?
That's true.
No, thank you, though.
Thank you.
They think I'm weird. I like water.
No, I don't think it's weird, but I do think it's worth maybe mentioning. It is to set the scene for those who are in the interwebs listening. It is 7:00 on a Saturday morning, the July 5th, the 5th of July. And I said, hey, would you guys be interested in doing a podcast? And they're like, yeah, sure. So when do you want to do it? It's like, well, really the only time I can do it is like 7 a.m. Kids are in bed. Like, how early do you want to come?
They might be awake now.
I think they're up now. Yeah. I just said, not so early that you lose sleep and not so late that you're worried about them not getting fed for lunch. So, and that sort of leads me to some of the rapid fire stuff. Do you guys know any mom jokes? Do you know what mom jokes are? Carissa thinks they're not a thing. I totally think they're a thing.
I Googled it.
I don't know.
But I found 2 funny ones.
Okay. I know mom memes, and funny reels.
I think that's what it is. Dad jokes are just like idiot, stupid jokes, right? Just like ba-dum-bum-bum, right?
Annoying.
Yeah.
Lee says them all the time. Thinks he's hilarious. They're annoying.
They're fantastic.
I am Lee.
Right? But then, so the mom jokes are kind of like self-deprecating, a little bit of, they're just like dark, twisted humor sort of thing. Yeah. My favorite mom joke is, and so apparently Preslee looks it up and she realizes it is a thing, is
they weren't that funny. So.
I love you, but not enough to flip the chicken nuggets halfway through.
See, I do that for myself though.
I go over, shake the air fryer a little bit.
It's not for them, it's for me.
Make sure mine are crispy. Theirs can be done early.
That's what I'm saying.
If they need to eat, I pull theirs out and put mine back in so they're crispy.
They're not gonna know the difference.
No.
They just eat. They just eat.
Yeah, they're fine.
If you marry my child and they like soggy chicken nuggets, I'm sorry.
Yeah. They're easy to please.
Yep.
And then I looked up another couple that I thought were good and particularly apt. I told my toddler I was going to the bathroom alone, and it was the best joke I've told all year.
Amen. When my husband comes home from work, he tries to go to the bathroom and shut the door. I'm like, oh no, that door stays open. That is a luxury, and it doesn't happen in this house.
Yes.
That door stays open. And they're like, where's Dad? I'm like, I think he's in the bathroom. Go find him.
Go find him. Go take care of it.
The other day I walked by and Derek's like, I'm not on my phone this time. I'm like, that's right. We don't have time for that.
They're going to love that.
Oh, it's awesome. The last one that I thought was funny was, I don't want to sleep like a baby. I want to sleep like my husband.
Yes.
Right? Well, there's, it's so funny. It's so funny.
It could go a lot of ways with that one, but yeah, I don't even know that Lee knows I left the house this morning. So
Yet.
All the kids, I just checked the cameras. Everyone's still asleep, so he's for sure still asleep.
That's awesome.
Of course, the one time they
right?
sleep in so well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have any mom jokes that you like?
Go for it. I know you looked
Preslee's
them up.
got some.
If a child refuses to nap, are they guilty of resisting arrest?
Good one. Okay, let's see. That's like dad jokes.
Yeah. But they don't put them down for nap.
That's true.
And then, what do you call a mother cow that just gave birth?
It's 7 a.m. I don't know.
Decaffeinated.
That's good.
I guess they are kind of dad
That's
jokes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Not as fun on the mom side.
I love it though.
Yeah.
I love it that we cannot take it super seriously.
Yeah.
Right? So good.
Yeah.
What's something that makes you dislike a person instantly?
I probably super judgy in this, and that's okay. And as I get older, it gets worse. But like if somebody like uses bad language, especially in front of like my kids, or even like if I'm on a date, like their own kids, or just like say something inappropriate, I just like I have the teacher look down still, and I just like glare at them like,
really?
Yeah, it's so annoying. Like,
there's 10,000 words in the English language,
Yeah,
that's what you
and you
choose.
choose that one right now?
And
oh, really?
I hope my looks make them feel terrible. It's not necessary.
How about you, Preslee?
I would say not being kind.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of mine. If I see people leave their shopping carts in the middle of like, the parking lot, I'm like, you're so rude. Somebody has to pick that up. Like, just put it back.
Put it away.
I saw this thing and it was like, if only we could boo adults like we do at sports. Like they didn't put their shopping cart away. Boo! Boo you! Go put it away. I'm like, yeah, I would do that. Like,
I'm going to try that, actually.
Stay in the car while you did that.
For real?
You put the candy over here? Boo! That's not where it goes.
What is something that people say that makes them sound uneducated?
A lot.
I feel like I say a lot of things that would make me sound uneducated, so I'm going to stick with language. Like when somebody cusses or says something, I'm like, I just don't listen to anything else they had to say. I'm like, okay, you're
Yeah,
done.
just immediately turn off.
Yeah.
It's your ick.
Yeah. Yes.
As people would say now.
Yeah.
As the cool kids would say.
Oh, the ick. What is that?
Took me a while to figure it out.
Have you ever used a bidet?
I have not. Have you, Preslee? No.
But my sister had one installed. Like she bought one off Amazon and connected it.
Yeah.
I've never used it though.
It's fantastic.
I just don't think I want a wet bottom.
But it's a clean bottom.
No. Toilet paper. That's why it was invented.
You use a wet wipe for the kids.
I know. And I couldn't
Because
imagine.
they're sitting in their poop. Like it gets everywhere.
I hope you don't do that yet.
Yeah, you've got a few more years.
Your
Chris.
children may not appreciate that this early on.
Millions of Europeans can't be wrong.
I mean,
I can say I won't give it a try one day.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've heard postpartum people talk about it, and I was like,
That's not a bad idea.
yeah,
You should gotta refill the squeeze bottle.
the squeeze
every
bottle.
time.
Yeah.
There's like thousands of people or tens of people listening to this episode be like, what does
What's
the
a squeeze
squeeze bottle
And
have
the
to
other
do
half
with
are like,
going-
yeah.
married.
Yeah, I know.
I might invest in a bidet now. Would you like to sponsor this podcast?
But the cool part about it is they have a heated seat in some of them, and you think you don't want toasty buns, and then
But see, we already don't have enough time to go to the bathroom.
Just sit there and let it warm up.
Yeah.
no, it's warm when
questionable.
you sit down.
Oh,
It's like right there.
like a heated seat in the car,
middle of winter
yeah.
might be nice.
or when you pee 20 times in the night.
Yeah. keep you resting while you're peeing.
Yeah.
Don't quite fully wake up.
Oh, so good. Name a celebrity you no longer like because you found out they were a bad person.
I've got nobody. Don't pay attention to people.
I don't want to say they're a bad person. I don't know them personally, but Taylor Swift,
Oh yeah,
was
I could care less.
yeah. I feel like it
Hot
was.
take.
Go ahead.
No,
Oh.
that's the hot take.
Yeah. Once she turned not country when I was in I don't know, middle school or high school.
First year of her career.
Yeah. Then I went to her concert once, but my parents still had to drop me off. I wasn't that old.
Yeah.
And then now I'll leave it at that.
Leave it there.
Yeah, I could be on that train.
What company could go bankrupt tomorrow and it would be good for the world?
Another one I don't know.
I was gonna say social media,
Uh-huh.
whatever that is, Meta or
Cell
whatever.
phones.
Yeah. Or
Apple.
Cell phone company?
Just let it all go.
It's like,
Cut it off.
I'm going to be Amish?
Yep.
Well, there's currently no service if you have T-Mobile in Lawson, so I feel like we're living like that anyway.
Yeah.
But
Pretty nice.
yeah, Lee wants to get the car walkie-talkies so we can communicate because he can't call me on his way home from work. He's like, I'm buying one now. I'm like,
That's kind of a cool idea. Of course, any idea Lee has, I jump on board with immediately. Yeah. I don't even vet it first. I'm like, Lee's into this. I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't even need to look it up. Like,
I don't need to do the research. I research everything else, but
if Lee says it, I mean, he's watched enough YouTube videos to get. He has covered every basis possible.
That's right. So good. I'm gonna ask him to help me organize my garage next. I think.
I don't know that you want that.
Well, I think it'd be organized for a week or so, and then it'd kind of go back.
And then he'd come over the next week and look at it and get mad at you.
What'd you do? Do you make PB&J sandwiches different for your kids than you make them for yourself?
Again, no, because I'm eating them. I get what I like.
Yep. We are you get what you get and you don't throw a fit household. Yeah. But if you plead with me nicely, maybe I'll cut off the crust or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can peel it off yourself.
Don't have the option. I've never. If I started giving them choices, they'd
run me over.
Yeah.
Each of you tell us one colorful birth story from one of your kids.
And go, Preslee.
We were talking about this last night, and I was like, Derek, which one do I talk about? He was like, clearly the most interesting one. Okay.
Which one is that?
Yeah. I would say it's probably Joe's. I went into labor.
Jolie, your second? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I went into labor. Well, for weeks I had been having like all night long I would have contractions. And so I wouldn't sleep. And then I'd get up and be fine the next day. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Like, when is this going to happen? I'm not sleeping. I'm going to work. This is exhausting. And I was like, I only work 3 times a week. Like, the likelihood that this is going to happen on a day that I work is less than that of the opposite. So it just happened again. And I got up and I was like, Derek, I mean, it could be the day, but probably not. Like, when I get to work, they go away and let's find out. No, they did not stop. And so I was at work and I went in and I was like, I got a sticky note from the night supervisor and it said, don't have your baby today. Like, don't go into labor today. With like a smiley face. And I kept that sticky note because I went into labor that day. And I told her, I was like, it's kind of funny you write this because the contractions have not stopped yet. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I've got a timer going on my phone. Don't worry. Like, I'll leave if I need to leave. Like, yeah, we'll be fine. And I stayed all day and we actually had to do a paracentesis. And
nobody knows what that is.
You drain fluid off their belly.
Okay.
And so the doctor and I were in there and I have to take vitals every so often. And I'm like, oh, I haven't taken the vitals again yet. Like, that's like every 5 minutes. Maybe I should pay attention to these contractions more. But then they'd spread out again and then they'd pick back up again. And so they were like every 8 minutes apart. And I was like, okay. And we finish the paracentesis and we leave the room. And I looked at the doctor because she used to be an OB doctor. And I was like, I think today might be the day. And she's like, oh, I sure hope it is for you. I know you're miserable. Like, it was awful. And I was 39 weeks. And about 2:30, I had just eaten potato soup that Jess made me because I love her potato soup and she loves me. And she's like, I made you this container. I was like, I'm going to take it to work. So I went and I ate the potato soup and I was really discouraged because I was like, oh, I'm just never having this baby and I'm going to have to keep going to work and be miserable. And I come out and I'm like, oh, these are picking up. Okay. And the supervisor,
I'll take credit for that.
Yes, it's all the potato soup. The supervisor comes out and she's like, listen, I've got everybody ready in the ER if you go into labor. And I was like, I am not having a baby at Excelsior Springs Hospital.
Right here.
Like, I will walk to the next hospital. I'm not having a baby here. No, she's like, we know exactly where like the baby NICU looking cart is. Like, we're ready. I'm like, no, I'm not having a baby here. She's like, well, you're making some funny sounds over there.
You work there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You work at Excelsior Springs?
It really is a great hospital.
Yeah, I know.
People shy away. Don't. It's good. Now, it didn't used to be, but that's okay. So she just keeps reminding me, like, I've talked to Dr. Hoffman down there. Like, he is ready. We were going to put you in room 8 if it happens. I was like, it is not happening. Like, I will not have a baby here. She's like,
it's totally
you're making
happening.
some funny sounds. Like, I'm just I'm breathing through it. we're fine. So like 2:30 comes and I text her. I'm like, hey, I think I might need to leave. I just snapped on somebody. And somebody just came down the hallway and was like, oh, are you ever going to have this baby? And it was in the middle of a contraction. I just looked up and I was like, I sure freaking hope so. and he just gave me this look and walked away. And he came back through. I was like, I'm so sorry.
And that is going to be on your next performance
I was like,
evaluation.
I have got to get out of here. So at that point, I feel like they were pretty close together. And then that's when they really started picking up. And I was like, okay, I got to go. But I got 3:00 meds. So I'm like, I can't pass this off to somebody.
Yeah.
So I stayed and passed my meds.
3:00 meds for your patients.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went to all my patients and I gave them their meds. And I was like, yeah, there's probably going to be another nurse coming in. Like, I think I need to leave. Oh, here's your meds.
Clinching for another one, 3 minutes apart from the last one.
And then I walk out and she's like, okay, I'm here. What do I need to do? I was like, I got it all done. And she's like, are you kidding me? Like, you have an hour to give your meds. Like, I could have done that. And I was like, no, I've got to take care of my patients. She's like, get to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and take a shower. I was just, I stink.
We're going to do this my way.
Yeah. I start driving home and I call my mom and she's like, you better stop right now and pull over. I was like, I'm not pulling over. And I was like, but I'll call Derek and ask him to meet me at the church. So I called Derek and he's like, what? Now I'm on a roof. I don't have a ladder. I'm like, oh gosh, just meet me at the church as soon as you can. I was like, I was going to go home, but I don't think I can. So then they're like 3 minutes apart. And we're on the way to the hospital and you're supposed to call them and warn them you're coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're like 7 minutes apart. And Derek's like, you're such a liar. And all the way there, I'm like, speed up, slow down. We're going to get pulled over. Contraction hits. Speed up. Why are you going so slow? Contraction's over. I'm like, okay, you can slow down. He's like, I don't know what to do right now.
I'm not slowing down.
We get there and I have her like an hour later.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I shouldn't talk ill on people, but if you're a labor and delivery nurse, don't sing and chomp your gum while someone's in labor. Especially when they have rage labor.
Isn't that so funny, the things you remember? How would you remember that, right? Like chomping the gum.
Oh, she was like, how you feeling? I'm like, just great.
I want you at my next delivery.
I'm about ready to take your head off.
You think you need that epidural now? I need something.
How about you, Teeny?
I mean, you guys know my birth stories. The
world doesn't.
The world doesn't need to know everything. But my most exciting one was my last, number 3. It was my first, I was induced with my first 2. So it was like my first real labor. Yeah. I would say, seeing what my body does.
There was more scheduling that went with number 1 and 2.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So yeah, it was a surprise. But
Jessica likes control. For everyone who wants to know.
Yeah. So I was like 40 weeks and 4 days. So treating it like it was my first pregnancy, kind of. I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I'd done my research. I listened to like every birth story possible, watched everything. So I'm like, know how this is supposed to go. Trying to go like unmedicated.
Control.
Yes, controlling it all. So I'm like, I'm going to be in labor for like 10 or more hours. I'm going to bounce it on the ball. Like, you need this comb to squeeze. Like, you got to learn how to breathe. Like, all these techniques. Yeah. I'm planning for it all. So I get up, maybe like having, now I know they were contractions, but like they were cramping like in the night. I was fine. I went back to bed. My husband gets up at like 5:30 to go to work.
After a wonderful night's sleep.
Wonderful night's sleep. Bless him. He needed it. And I'm like, so there's this thing called the mile circuit where you get in like 3 different positions for like 30 minutes each. And it's supposed to like help induce labor. Put your body in the right position
kind
for
of
the baby.
Track it.
Yeah. So I've been doing it for like a week. Nothing works. I'm like, okay, maybe these are real contractions. I don't really know. Like, so I get in. One of them is like, you're on like, I don't know, laying on your belly basically, but with your knees tucked up.
Okay.
Underneath. So you're like bottoms in the air. So Lee wakes up to me in that position in our bed. I just rolls over. He's like, what is happening?
Like, you okay?
Yeah.
Go back to sleep.
I'm fine. I don't really know what's happening. He's like, but are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. just go to work. So
She would.
Yeah. So he goes to work. I'm in complete denial. Like, I'm like, this is supposed to be worse. Like, it's going to be a whole day. Like, you have to go to work. I don't need you here to like watch me do this right now. And
Champ.
well, I did need him there. I just like, he comes into play later. I just like didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
And so then I get up and I'm like, okay, maybe this is RL. So I start timing them, and then it gets to start saying like, oh, you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, okay, these apps are like stupid. Like, they just tell you to go to the hospital. Like, I've been in labor for like an hour.
I'm
like,
not going to trust
thousands
of years of modern medical wisdom because it's just...
they don't know.
So, this is not what my video said.
Yes. So
this isn't a part of my plan.
Yes, exactly. So I was actually...
Lee comes home at 5.
Yeah.
That's when she's coming.
Yeah.
So I get up and start tracking them. They're coming. So I'm like, okay, I call Lee. He's like in the parking lot. He works downtown at KU Med.
Okay.
So it's like 45-minute drive. So I call him. He's like, well, I'm in the parking lot. Do I need to come home? I'm like, no, but like things are happening. Like, you'll probably need to come home early. Like from work, so just like plan for that. And he's like, okay, I just got to get some things done. Like, then I'll like head home. Because he's a supervisor. He felt like he needed to get stuff done to start the day. Preslee texted me, or I don't remember. We were supposed to go for a walk. Yes. Yeah, I'm like, I think I might be in labor. I don't really know.
So I'm like, do I need to come sit with the kids?
Yes.
No. We're fine over here.
We're fine. Yeah. So then I call Lee, and he's like, well, just call like the midwives, like the hospital. And so they're like, well, you could, like, you're overdue. Like, you can come in if you want. It's up to you. So I call him again. I'm like, okay. I'm like leaning over things. Call him again. Like, you need to come home now. He had like made it to the locker room. Yeah. It had been like 15 minutes. And I guess while he was in the locker room, there was a coworker who has 3 children. And he's like, dude, you need to leave now. Like, forget whatever you think you need to do in the office. Like, leave now.
Yeah.
And so he leaves. It's a hike to where he parks, like from the hospital. So he gets to the car, and it's now like rush hour.
Where are you?
Yes. Yeah. So he's like, I think freaking out. And he like calls my sister-in-law, your wife, Carissa. Yeah. It's like, hey, this is happening. Like, I need you over there. So
I love that you didn't even call her. Lee was like, get over there now.
Yeah. I was not in a state to talk to people, I don't think. Thankfully, my children were still asleep. So I'm just like doing laps around the house. Like, bags had been packed. We're good. And then, so finally he gets there, like runs inside, like probably already sweating.
Did I miss it?
Yeah. He's like, he just like sees me like leaning over, and he's like, oh. And so he's like,
we got this is a hike back.
Yes. He loads up the car and then starts like taking car seats out of our car to like put in your guys' car. And then Carissa shows up, and I just remember I was like walking to the garage, and she was walking up our front steps, and I just look at her like, how do I get in a car and do this for 45 minutes? And she's just like, and like runs upstairs. I'm like, okay.
Like, I'm not involved in this. I've done my childbearing years. I'm done.
So I like get in the car, and
oh, that's the worst part. Being in the car is awful.
And I still was like in denial though, like that it was like happening. Cause like, I'm not screaming. Like, I've listened to all these birth stories. Right. I'm like, I'm not there. Like, I'm not there. So,
but you are.
Yeah.
You're past.
I can't like sit down. So I'm like holding onto the chicken bar, like holding myself off the seat the whole time.
Bar.
Yeah.
I call it the oh crap handle.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So we leave. It takes about should take us 45 minutes to get there. It's rush hour, but it's also like, we're running red lights. And so I'm like, the first red light he ran, I'm like, Lee, don't do that. And then the next time I'm like, it's fine. There's somebody around.
Keep going.
Lady with the baby, move it or lose it, sisters.
And so then we like get past Liberty, and we're going to KU. And so I'm like, no, like how long my contractions are. I'm like, okay, this is how many more I have to endure in this car ride, like before we get there.
The counter was right. Should have
went. So Lee calls ahead, and he's like, we're coming. Like, we're going to be right there. Can someone be in the ER, like with the wheelchair? And I'm like, oh yeah. So we get there, we pull up to the ER, and nobody's there. So he's mad. So he like runs inside to grab a wheelchair and comes out. And I'm like, I can't
even sit in a wheelchair.
Yeah. So I like have my arms like pushing myself off the sides of the wheelchair. So I'm like holding myself up the chair. So they take me in, and then they like are trying to check me. And Lee's like, she is in labor. Like, we're not doing this. And so like, well, let me get somebody. So they get somebody. And this sweet guy, like, I don't know. They're like, take her to this floor or whatever. So he's looking for like the ER bay number. And he's like, we're not staying here. We need to go to labor and delivery. So he like kindly like pushes the guy out of the way and takes control of the wheelchair. He's like, I work here. I know where the elevators are. We're leaving.
Yeah.
And there was this older short lady who had just come out of a C-section. So she was like down just checking the ER and like, but she worked labor and delivery. So she's like, oh, and she's like, she's in labor. And so she gets on her like
someone
pager,
knows.
and she goes, I've got one, and she gets coming in hot. And I was like, she was just like very animated. I will never forget her. And she's just like, I can tell. I just know whenever you can't sit on that, they are right there and they are coming in hot. And so she's just like paging and like, it's hilarious. And so we finally like get up to the floor, and then they have to like do the whole check-in thing. So they like, Lee couldn't come back with me. They take me into triage, and then thankfully somebody's like, no, she's like a midwife patient. She doesn't have to do triage. Like we have a room for her. So super thankful, because they were about ready to tell me like, get in this bed. I'm like, that is not happening. No. And so I get back in the room, and I told the nurse like, I need my husband. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, now. And so she's like, do you feel safe at home? I'm like, yes, please just let him come back here.
I wouldn't be asking for him if I didn't.
So thankfully he got back there really quick. And then the midwives come in. My midwife, love her. We have the same personality. So glad she was there. But there was a midwife like in training and like so sweet, but like talks calmly and like, I'm going to touch your back now.
I'm going to rip your head off.
I don't care what you do right now to get this child out of me.
Labor rage.
Yes. So I'm like, but I'm still calm right now. So I'm so in denial because I'm like, I should be screaming. And so I'm just like, there's a table in the corner. I'm like leaned over, and she comes over and like rubs my back. Like, well, let's get in bed. I'm like, I said, if I'm only out of 2, give me the epidural now. Like, this is not happening. If, like, that's where I'm at. She's like, well, you have to get in bed and get checked. So she checks me and she's like, oh, we're pushing now. So then, So, and then Lydia came out. And the end.
That was
no more details.
You know, isn't that funny? You know, you talk about the things you can't do. And then you're like, how am I going to deal with this 45-minute ride? I don't know, but I'm going to do it. How am I going to deal with this deal? I don't know, but I'm going to do it. And you just do it, and you kind of like, the life happens.
Yes.
Yeah. That's amazing.
You have to.
Thank you for sharing that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, like, and people can already tell. I mean, we have a lot to talk about. Don't know if we'll get through all of it or not or whatever, but I mean, I feel like we could stop right now and people could see that there is a host of wisdom in this community. And so the hope that I had for bringing you all here today and to talk through this is to encourage young moms everywhere. I want to encourage the support groups of those young mothers. And I want to reflect and laugh a lot, which clearly, you know, we're already doing that, right? But it's really important to realize that when you're in this season of life, you take it seriously, which you all are. But those who are around you may not necessarily see it the same way, right? Like one of my favorite and most pet peeve comments that people make is when Carissa was pregnant, she'd be dealing with all of this stuff at night, and we'd have this 9-month, pregnancy. Mm-hmm. And then somebody would just show up and be like, oh, I just feel like your pregnancy's just
flown by.
It's just flown by. Has it been 9 months already or 8 months already? And I'm like, would you just shut up? You can't say that to her. She's like living this day in and day out, so there's, and now having come away from that, right, to talk to a couple people like you who are doing it, it just means so much. So thank you. So I want to go through some sections of the lifestyle that you're living right now and just kind of get real. So from like a daily life and routine perspective, you have multiple children, and I would say you're doing it right, from my perspective. And doing it right sometimes can feel like absolute chaos. And it can probably look like chaos, right? And some days you're just glad that nobody died. And I'm just talking about my
myself
own,
here. Yes.
my own
I
self.
made it.
Yeah, right. And so, first question is, in air quotes, what does a quote unquote normal day look like in your house? Waking up to bedtime, what part of that day drives you the most crazy? And again, we're talking 3 kids, 1 on the way for you, Jess. What's a normal day look like?
It depends on the season. So it's hard to say, like, if you have a newborn and what time you're waking up versus I'm pregnant and don't sleep and waking up. But on a good day, get up around 6:30.
That's early.
I mean, yeah. It comes in season. Some mornings the children are waking me up at 8 o'clock. So it just depends.
Your husbands get to sleep the one time you leave.
I just look at the cameras and they're all still asleep. Get up, have coffee, do my reading, maybe start breakfast, depending. Kids slowly get up, depending, around 7:30, 8. Do breakfast. If it's a school day, we do school in the mornings. The girls usually just play. My son was in kindergarten last year, so do school. Doesn't take too long. If then just kind of hang out. If we don't have a school day, it's get out of the house like before lunch. Go do something. Come home, do lunch, nap. I only have one that naps now, so that's a transition.
Those were the days.
Yeah, they used to all be quiet. So the older 2 play or read or watch a show or something, and then the struggle till Dad gets home around 5. Play outside, dinner.
Yeah, and you use the words like hanging out or the kids play or whatever. Those who are listening who don't have little kids, that's not a relaxing time for mom, right?
You're entertaining, or cleaning,
or sprinting to the creek to make sure everyone's okay.
Right. The kids play is very active.
Yeah,
you're a part of that play. You're a part of the hanging out. It's not like you've just got time to sit and drink the coffee and watch the little kids play in the yard. You probably do some of that, but
no, you're facilitating and keeping them alive. We're very blessed. We have land for them to like play on and be outside. And so they're forced outside like constantly. So they're playing outside. Walkie-talkies are their best friends.
So what drives you the most crazy in a day like that?
The 3 to 5 o'clock hours.
Yeah. 3 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Till Dad gets home.
When your energy's gone. They're tired. Yeah. They're probably bored with some of the things that they started the day strong with. Yeah. Right. And then,
Baby just got up from the nap. She's on the struggle bus. Yeah. I'm on the struggle bus. Yeah. The other 2 need everything from you. And snacks. Yeah. Always snacks.
Yeah. Does any part of the day like run like it's on autopilot?
I feel like meals, just because you have to do it every day, like 3 times a day, and snacks.
And that's all they want. They just want to eat. Yeah. They just want to eat.
A fruit, a veggie, and a protein, like I can whip that out. Like sometimes the protein's pepperoni or cottage cheese.
Hey, whatever.
You are a good snack mom.
That's all they get. Oh, not for snacks, for meals.
You are a good meal mom. Joe just walked. I taught Joe how to open the cabinet because every time I was nursing Millie, she'd be like, I want a snack. So I taught her, biggest regret of my life.
Yes.
She just comes out with fruit snacks. I'm like, well, they're dye-free. Go ahead.
Yes.
It's all yours.
Sam was like, can I have a snack? I'm like, you know your choices when it's not snack time. There's an apple or a cheese stick. Like, but I don't want that. I'm like, then you're not hungry enough.
Yeah.
Apple or cheese stick.
Your lunch is still on the table. We'll finish it.
How about you, Preslee? What's a normal day look like?
About the same. We get up around, I guess the girls get up around 7:30. And then we have breakfast. And I said, I'm kind of in the stage of like, school isn't that big yet.
Yeah.
So
you got a couple of years yet before anybody starts that, right?
Yeah, Blakely is technically in preschool, but I do it from home because my work schedule is so crazy that getting her somewhere and paying for it and having a babysitter take her, bring her back, and then have 2 other kids, like it just doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna do preschool from home. We did last year, but so if we have school, we eat breakfast and we do school, which only takes like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how distracted we are.
Sure.
Because it doesn't take long at all, but.
Yeah, it's the discipline more than it is the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because then Joe comes in and she needs something, or Millie needs something, and
Yeah.
Blakely's bored. So it takes a while, but then we just spend, if it's nice out, our entire day outside. We don't have AC. This is year 3. We don't have AC. So it's nicer outside than inside most of the time.
Okay.
So
she's crazy.
She
did it last summer pregnant.
I'm trying to be grateful this year, but I
That
cannot
is
remember how bad it
crazy.
was last year.
It was so hot last year.
It's only going to get worse. It's like 90 in July. In June.
Yeah.
I'm going to die.
Well, you
It's
appear to
fine.
be very happy.
Thank you. Well, I like to be outside where there's a breeze,
Does
and we
any
live
par-
on a hill.
Any part of your day run like it's on autopilot?
No.
No.
I never stay at home. It's bad. I am constantly going somewhere or doing something.
Yep.
Groceries, going to Jess's house, going to another friend's house,
Yeah.
or just
On the go.
yes. And I need to be better about staying at home, because Blakely will be like, "Oh, what are we doing today?" I'm like, "Nothing." She's like, "Oh, well, I really wanted to go somewhere today." I'm like, "We have been everywhere in 2 weeks. Like, we need to stay home." She's like, "Oh, no, I need to go somewhere. Like, this is bad."
Yeah.
No. But the worst part of my day, I guess, would be I cannot stand bedtime.
Yeah.
Bedtime is the absolute worst. I'm just like, close your eyes, go to sleep, I'm done.
Yeah.
And they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. And and then, you figure it out, right? Everybody ultimately
Yes.
makes the right. And they're kids. They just don't want to go to bed. When
Oh,
they
gosh.
actually lay
No.
down and close their eyes, they're done. They're done too.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I'm like, just please 2 seconds of shh.
Yeah.
And you'd be out
Yeah.
for the whole night. But it's no, we have to brush our teeth, and then we have to do our book, and we have to say our prayers, which we love saying our prayers.
Yeah.
Our friend mentioned to us, she's like, we need to start doing our prayers at the beginning, because by the time we're at bedtime, I'm done.
Yeah.
I was like, you're so right. It's not a good prayer.
That is savage. That is savage.
Yeah,
but
I'm like,
it's
that is
so
so
honest and true.
wise. Like,
Yes.
we're going to do prayers before we even brush our teeth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pray that mommy has patience
Yeah.
tonight, because
For
if
the
you
next
come out of your
hour
room
of
another time,
bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then too, to kind of focus on one of the goals we had today, right? Which is to maybe encourage those supporting, people like you, right? You have excellent husbands, very supportive, right? I've talked with Lee as he's walked in the door, and I've been there myself, where that 3 to 5 hour or the bedtime routine is when everybody is toast. And so, and I'll just be candid because I can, and I'm talking to a group of people who have nameless and faces right now, right? Guys, if you're coming home to your wife who's been with kids all day, suck it up. Suck it up. You must be present. You must be there for her. You must be able to transition whatever the crap you were doing over the course of the day and focus on what's going on in your house. That's where life happens. That's what you're working for. That's what this is all about. So suck it up. Suck it up at bedtime. Suck it up when you get home from work. Your kids don't care about how crappy of a day you had.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I get that out. You're going to get a little bit of that from me today, so apologies, but at the same time, I'm not really sorry.
No, we actually have a friend who just recently had their first baby, and I was talking to my husband, we're preparing for number 4, and just like, it's so different the season you're in, and we were talking about something, and he showed me this text message that he had sent our friend, the husband,
Yeah,
and it was just basically what you said, suck it up, nobody's sleeping, but she needs sleep more than you.
Yeah.
You're tired,
yeah,
take the baby.
Yep.
You have it.
Yep.
It's just different.
Yep. Well, and also from a dad perspective, you're going to have a better relationship with your kids if you do that.
Yeah.
If everything is running on autopilot and everything is good and whatnot, and but what do they need you for? No, they need a father who is strong and able to
Set
come
aside
in,
his problems. And
and handle a
come in.
situation diplomatically, and then love you, right? I love you enough to take care of you. I love you enough to change your diaper. I love you enough to say a prayer with you and feed you and do
Yeah.
all the things that demonstrate your willingness to serve sacrificially.
Yeah.
which is so good.
And they show up for their wife when
Yep.
they do that too.
Yeah.
And it's present enough to know, I think, how to do those things, because they're not,
Yep.
it's not foreign to them because they do it.
Yep.
It's not a big deal when they do, or their kids think it's a big, daddy's doing this?
Yeah.
No,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
we're a team.
I used to make a joke that I could do things better than Carissa, and I never could. But certain things I felt like I could secretly.
It's safe to say
Do
now.
tell. I don't know about that.
I could swaddle a baby better than anybody. That baby was so tight in there. Like that baby was not moving. And when they're trying to squirm around and stuff, that's when they wake up. So
Yeah.
I would wrap that sucker up so tight.
Like, they're not purple
And I'm
yet.
like, make sure they're breathing. Good. That's about as tight as we can get it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about like your identity and expectations that you had. How has becoming a mother changed the way that you see yourself? And we're not just talking like as a parent, right? You're not a parent and then you are a parent, but that's part of this equation. How about as a woman? How about as a partner, as a friend, right? I'm sitting here. You guys are definitely friends. You're definitely different friends than you probably would have been had you met in high school or college or
we
whatever.
couldn't meet in high school.
Yeah. I'm older.
Right. But like, how do you see yourself, and how's your view of yourself changed?
Well, kind of like what Jess said earlier. She was like, I was the person that was like, I got this degree. I'm going to use this degree.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my baby. I'm going to go back and keep using my degree. Nothing's going to stop me. I was like that very much. So when the Lord changed my heart a lot, I remember sitting down with Heather Johnson and being like, I don't know what's happening, but I don't want to go to work anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be at home. And my family is like a work, get your money,
Yep.
get what you need to. So I definitely had a shift change from there. And poor Derek probably wasn't expecting it either, because I am very hard-headed. And I fought it as long as I could. And I was finally like, okay, I can't stand leaving my baby all the time. Like when I wake up for work, they're asleep. And when I worked at North Kansas City, they were in bed before I got home. So I didn't get to see Blakely at all, like during the day. Sometimes maybe she would be kind of awake and I'd get to give her a kiss and put her to bed. So that was just so hard. And the Lord was like, nope, you desire to stay home. You don't desire to work as much. I still love my work and I try. We're working on it. I still love working. I just worked 2 times, but now I'm at Excelsior. So I give my babies a kiss before I leave. They're still in bed, head to work. So get to see them when I come home.
Yeah.
That was a big change in me though.
Yeah.
And it's definitely softened my heart for like other mothers in that stage. And I love the newborn stage, but some people are like, this is the hardest stage ever. I'm like, it is my favorite. I love that little tiny newborn. Oh my gosh, I could have 500 of them. So I just really feel for mothers in the newborn stage, and I love to check in on them.
Yeah.
And I never even thought twice, but it's always like, you never realize how the marriage life is until you're married, and you never realize the kid life until you have kids.
Yeah.
So just in those aspects, friends-wise, I've grown to have more amazing friends from the church the Lord has provided. I remember praying, like, when we moved back, we left all our friends in St. Joe. And then I would just pray, like, Lord, this is lonely. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I need wisdom. I need advice. We're having a baby. And the 2 friends that I do have right now, like, don't have kids. I have my best friend from high school who had kids, but I mean, she's doing her own thing. 'Cause like I said, it's all different. So then I met Jess and a bunch of people from the church, and that changed my heart. 'Cause now I just, I don't know. Big heart change of just like loving differently, I guess.
Yeah.
Poor Derek.
I love it.
Lots of emotions.
Yeah.
It's a big tangled mess of emotions,
it
isn't
is.
it? And
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful part of it. So, there's a lot of ways you can look at it.
So hopefully I answered that question.
Yeah. It's wonderful. It's your answer.
Way.
Yeah.
How about you, Teeny?
Similar. I was very like, I don't know. As for myself, very independent person. Do the degree, like I'm going to use it. Like I can do all these things, and I think, like Preslee said, I am a control freak, and like that is my biggest challenge daily.
I love it.
Sometimes. That's like something I battle daily is like having control. But I think for me, it was like in all areas for myself, like my friends, my husband, my family, like was realizing like what God had for me and like what also like accepting, because like I'd read and like people tell you like, oh, like this is what a biblical wife is and a mother is, and like, yeah, but until like you like believe that, like what my role is, and then once you like accept it, it is like the biggest weight off of you, but also the biggest, like, I mean, obviously comes with responsibility. Like I'm raising these children to, I pray to love the Lord and serve the Lord for the rest of their life. Like that is no small feat at all. But
and you can read that in a few scriptures, right? And the application is so much.
Yes.
hard.
Yeah. But until like you, I feel like accept the fact, like I knew what a wife should look like, but until like I bought into like, I am his partner, like I am like this, there's a podcast like people I follow, and like they really talk about how like the wife is like the easer, like she is supposed to be there, like you're a partner and like it's a partnership, and once you like have, it's just so much peace, like once you're in it, like
settle into that role,
like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like yes, every day is hard, like, and I have to fight myself, but it makes me a better wife, and like I have the joy in doing it. Like yes, I have to cook 3 meals a day, but also I get to like it's such a perspective. Like yes, I still complain probably, but to like I get to do those things, right? You know, like I get to support my husband, and like yes, I don't want to do his job, like I don't want to leave the house and go to work every day, like because I had that moment too where my son was, I don't know, once I went back to work when he was probably, because he was an April baby, so I had the whole summer off with him, which was really nice. But I went back and I cried every day. And I was leaving him with my mother-in-law, who was like the one person like I'd want to leave him with. But I had laminated directions for her as if she hadn't raised 4 children for her.
Control freak.
And not just for children, like children that you would want to marry.
Yeah, exactly.
Good ones.
And they lived a block away from where I worked. And so it just like, I don't know. Once you, I feel like for me, accept like what it should be. And I'm not claiming I do it right at all.
Right.
But there's just so much peace in it, like knowing like this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that just,
Very good.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like maybe sidebar here is as you have went from kids to no kids, or no kids to kids, and you did that in a partnering sort of way with your husband.
Sort of way.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to ease the question, right? How did your relationship with your husband change? And especially as you're raising toddlers together, you know, so if you could maybe spend a second on that.
Jessica is so good at this. So she can talk about her and Lee because they're amazing.
No, it's trial and error. Like I think for Lee and I, we talk about it as a like come to Jesus moment right before we had our first, which was like a huge, like expectations is a huge thing like in our relationship.
It's a 4-letter word in this house.
Yeah. And so it's like a big deal. And so thankfully, like his expectation, he grew up in a house where his mom stayed at home. Everyone he knew, like the women in his life, stayed home and worked and had dinner on the table at 5 o'clock when his dad walked in. And I did not grow up like that at all.
Nope.
Or anyone like in my family.
Yeah.
And so to have that expectation, he never voiced those. But he was like judging me like for not doing those things. So once we like came to terms and had that moment, I feel like still growing in that, but like we're a team. What are the expectations here? I don't know.
You do so good with like date nights and talking and everything.
And you have to fight to be intentional about those things. And I think that like, I don't know, the world like tells you how it should look and what it should be. And it's different for everybody in every relationship, but like, we've gotten to a point where it's like not a hard season for us. Like, our last baby, like you've heard people talk about like roommate syndrome where you're just like living in the same house. Like that happened for a time, like with our last baby, because she was like just hard for the first 3 months. But like you miss it so much. Like I wasn't feeding her to come to find out, but you know,
had to break in and clean Jessica's house.
She did. And I got so mad at her and was like crying because I was so thankful. But I don't know. You just have to prioritize it over literally everything except God.
Yeah.
Like your spouse. Because I'm not a good mom if I can't talk to Lee.
Yep.
And he's not a good husband or a good father if we don't have time together.
Yep.
So
that's interesting. How about you, Preslee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Derek and I are definitely working on it. We are like both just givers like to everyone else in a sense of like, how can I help them? How can we do this? And we do that with our kids too. And then I have a lot of mom guilt for like leaving the girls and only seeing them for maybe an hour at night before bed. So I'm like, I don't want to leave them anymore. Like we went on a date. I don't know. It's been a while, but we went on vacation. So we spent a lot of time together.
Sure.
That's why. But the last time we went on a date, we were both at dinner and we're like, do we just go home and get our kids now? Because we miss them. Like,
yeah.
So it's definitely an intentional battle, but
that's one.
We're still working on it.
Well, no, it's a progression. It's a journey, and that's one of the things here too. You know, chatting with you all, mothers of preschool age children. And Jesse talked about this season of life and the work that you're doing now, and you know, Preslee, these efforts that you're taking consistently, that's going to change. Like your kids are going to go from this MOPS, mother of preschool age kids, to what about mothers of elementary school age kids, and then middle school and high school, right? I mean, like we could have the same conversation with different mothers about different phases of every kid's lives.
Oh, yeah.
And then ultimately, like you look at the average life expectancy of a person, I think it's like 80 years old right now. And you think, if I have kids in my home for 20 of those years, right? That's still 20. It's 75.
So small.
Right. 75% of my life, I'm going to live without children in my home.
Yeah.
And so we've got to prioritize that relationship with our husband. We've got to prioritize that work, that discipline that you're talking about. Is there anything about pre-kid life that you missed that just still stings a little? And I'll prime the pump by saying, I got so frustrated that I couldn't just put my shoes on and leave.
Yep. In 2 seconds.
I just wanted, I could just leave.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about anything. Maybe I had my keys in my wallet, do the double tap now phone keys wallet, front pocket, left pocket, rear pocket, and I'm gone.
Yes.
As long as my keys are in the van, it will go. So that's good.
Right?
And it's like, now I have to wait because somebody's sleeping, or if we leave right now, I have 15 minutes, I've got to feed her or whatever. And I'm like, gosh, dang, I just want to leave.
Just go.
I want to get out of the house.
Yeah. I think I become angry in those moments. I'm like, just get in the car. Like, you are one person.
I'm sure there's a pair of shoes in there somewhere.
Like, I don't. And then they come back up the stairs. Like, I'm like, you don't need everything in our house in our van.
Yeah.
Go to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sleep. Like, I used to like that. Don't really know what that is anymore.
I don't know that I'll ever sleep well ever again.
It's a game.
How about you, Preslee?
I'd say traveling. Like before we had Blakely, we would just go anywhere all the time. We'd drive to Florida. We still do that, but not as easily and as often.
Yeah.
Like,
I was chatting with Derek the other day, and I just said, well, I had asked for some Tyvek. He's in the construction world. So I said, do you have any Tyvek? And he says, no. He said, what do you need that for? And he's like, you going on a backpacking trip? And I said, yeah. Well, and I said, I'm not. I'm actually getting it for a friend, but whatever. And he's like, I bought a bunch of that stuff. And I said, well, we need to. I said, did you? I said, when was the last time you went? He's like, well, I'm still working on that.
We had these plans, and then we got pregnant with Millie, and it's like, we're gonna put that on hold.
Yeah, we'll put that on hold for now. Okay, let's talk. Okay, is there anything there in identity and expectations that you just wanted to share?
I think just like, I don't know, especially with friends. Like, my 3 best friends right now I met in the nursing room at church. Like, you feel so alone, but like you're gonna meet the people like where you're at, and like I don't know.
She's stuck with me now. Our kids are the same age.
I'm so glad. I also know that you don't sleep much either, so we can talk. Like, it's important to have those friends. So like, And like for me, it's like sisters who are like older and have been there. But it's also just so different to have somebody who's in it with you right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like you had said earlier, Preslee, like if you're not married, like I have a host of cousins who are younger than me. I'm like, I just want to give them dating and marriage advice, but they don't want it because they're not there. And even if you give it to them, they don't know.
Yeah.
And same for like, we have some like are in a Bible study, and like I love that these women can just say like, it's just a season, and they can like pour into you. I'm like, I know that, but so to be able to like have a friend where you're at is so important. Like the older, like wiser, like people to like pour into and mentor are so important, but also to have a friend like where you're at.
Yeah.
Is important too.
In the foxhole.
They pray for you. They see you through it.
Yeah. They know
to come clean your house.
Yes.
Before I had Millie, they all came over and helped me clean my house because it's a construction zone. And it was just, I literally texted Jess. I was like, I'm just crying because you guys helped so much by just cleaning the house. Like this huge weight of,
I don't live in a construction zone, and they're coming to my house to clean it before this baby
Her house
comes.
is already clean. She just wants it cleaned again. I don't know, but
the control freak in me, I texted another one of our friends like, "Hey, does this day work for you to come clean my house?" She goes, "We were already planning something for you, Jessica." I'm like, I can't do that.
The best
Like,
thing
I'm
is she
planning it
texted
for
me
you.
and she was like, "Do we stop her and plan it, or do we let her plan it?" I was like, "Why? Let her plan it. It's fine. She wants to. She enjoys that." I was like, even if we come up with a plan, she'll have another one. So let her do it.
So speaking of plans and, thinking about the long-term goal of what you're actually trying to do here, right? How do you actually define success as a mom? How do you know you're actually, and then like when you define it, how do you actually know you're achieving it? And this is, I don't know that there is a good answer to this question, right?
Yeah.
We interviewed Nate Robinson and Ryan Burton the other day, and they're like, well, we'll know we were successful raising men on the baseball field in 20 years when they come back and they've got their own families and kids and whatnot. Is that your perspective, or do you have other thoughts on that?
I think it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
Success for me, I put, it would be my wonderful children just knowing and serving the Lord and like gaining the ultimate gift of eternal life, which I will possibly never see until we're in heaven. And I just want, like, aside from that, them to have like a heart for the Lord and service and kindness and love and the fruits of the Spirit,
Yep.
So that's my ultimate goal. Like, I just want them to seek the Lord.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, there's a scripture
for everyone.
There's a scripture that talks about children are like arrows in the hand of an archer, and blessed is the man whose quiver is full. And then there's some imagery that talks about how, and this isn't necessarily scriptural, more of an application of it. Kids are the arrows that you fire into the future that you'll never see. Yeah, which is heavy if you think about it like that. Like, I better make this a good shot.
Yeah.
I cannot screw up.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that weight we talked about, like the mothers feel so much weight at home, but
and that's there's a pressure to run the house. It's not just how the kids, right? I mean, it's like your family's going to be evaluated based on the way these kids act out in the community, right? No pressure here, right?
But
but you feel it and you know it, right? And you're gonna evaluate yourself on whether or not stuff is done. You're gonna evaluate, and Jesse, I love the dude. He said, I haven't met a mother yet who doesn't feel guilty about something. So trying to figure this out all together here.
Yeah. I like tell the kids they have the childlike faith of like they just want to go to heaven because it's going to be so good. And I'm so glad for that. But I'm like, well, I'm going to bring this to heaven. I'm like your children are the only thing you can bring with you to heaven. So like
focus on it
if you can. Like, so that like is what the goal should be. And we have like a quote in our house, and it's like, we should love God with a passion and people on purpose. And I think like that's
good.
Yeah. And if that's what I get out of them. And like, I heard someone like talking about like they had 4 kids. It's an older couple. Like, but if our 4 kids, we can raise them to love the Lord and to find partners who love the Lord. If they have 4 kids who you raise them up, and then they have like 4 kids, like look at what you've created.
It's exponential.
Yeah.
And that's legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I guess, would be success, but we might not ever see it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let's flip the script and go the opposite side of validation and or purpose and or just like the work of it. Have you ever felt guilt for enjoying time away from your kids? You know, like we understand this depth of what we're talking about here, but also know how crazy and stuff it can be.
I wouldn't say I feel guilty for like having like enjoying things.
Yeah.
Without my kids. For me, it's definitely more of a, I don't know. You guys recently watched our children while we went on a trip for 2 days, and like it hurt so bad. I'm also hormonal, but like
that's what she says for everything right now.
Yeah, well, I'm not usually an emotional person. So.
She's a wonderful human being.
But like to like leave your kids, like not that I'm having fun, because like we did fun things and I didn't think about them. Like I was having fun, and you need to have fun with your spouse. Like it was a good thing.
Yep.
But also knowing that like I don't know. They're having more fun than like they'd probably have with me for a few days. They're eating way more things. Than, like Carissa texted me like the grocery list of things like she had prepared for them.
All true.
And, yes.
Like, we don't eat that. We don't eat that.
Not like that. Like they're just getting all the love and attention that they don't. Can't pour into all of them all day long, 24/7, and they get that. So they're not missing out. So I don't feel like a guilt. It's just like I love my kids so much. Like I've talked to another friend about this. Like. I enjoy my kids. Like I like doing life with them.
I want to be with them. I want them there.
Yeah. Like we were gone. I'm like, oh, Sammy would love this. Or like, what would they, And it's hard to know it's not a bad thing that God created us differently and created mothers differently with a different kind of love for their kids, I think. Yeah. But to also have that moment to recognize like, but my husband needs me, fully me. Yeah. It's like that is a hard, I think, where the guilt comes in. Like, who needs me more right now? Yeah.
And I've heard women recently talk about how there's never enough of you. Like this person needs me, and this situation needs my attention, and and at the end of the day, it's kind of a hopeless feeling to say I'm not enough, and that's a lie. So you are enough, and all of that, but it's something worth fighting for. So what outside of your identity of a mom are you fighting the hardest to keep alive, and how? Is that it? Is it the relationships with your husbands and whatnot, or is there other things you're trying to fight to kind of keep your unique identity alive?
Say the question again.
Just how outside of your identity as a mom, like what's some of the hardest things that you're fighting for to kind of keep alive?
Oh, I'm fighting to be a nurse still. Yeah. Because I love being a nurse, and but I know I really want to stay home. So I need to, God and I are working on that together. But I'm still stuck in the headset of I worked hard for this degree, and I love it. I love taking care of other people and watching them get better. So that would be one of my biggest struggles, because it's also one of the things that makes being a mom the hardest.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, totally.
I bawled when I had to turn in my keys to teach, and I was so happy. I cried so much because I was leaving my child every day, again with my mother-in-law. But when I turned in my keys to my principal, I was just because I loved it. And
it's so hard.
And like
you're leaving another part of friendships too, and my coworkers and things. And I just
and we didn't have friends at the time who had kids and lived in Liberty, and I didn't what am I doing all day long? Well, and leave I think was maybe even working 12-hour shifts at that point. What do I do all day with a kid who can't talk to me? And it was in the middle of COVID, so we couldn't do anything. Right. And that's why we moved to Lawson so soon.
This is something, and as you all are talking about working from home, and also having aspirations to work in the professional world as well, right? Teaching, nursing, right? These are excellent professions, God-honoring professions. It's been my observation that within the community of mothers, there is more infighting between women who work and women who don't work than is absolutely necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm getting tired of it. Like, and I don't really have a dog in the fight, but I'm getting frustrated that you all can sit here and talk about everything that you're working to achieve with your husbands, with your kids, right? Right now, you can go to work, you cannot go to work, right? Like that's not the thing that we should be talking about. We should be realizing that woman over there is trying to raise her kid and do the best she can, whether or not she's at home or whether or not she's working or where, you know, I mean, like I'm just done. I'm done with that fight. I'm like, why can't all women support other women who are trying to do this? So do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's one of my pet peeves.
It's
cannot
irritating.
stand it. Like, God calls everybody to a different path.
Yeah.
And like, whether mine's to be at home or not, I'm still figuring out.
Yeah.
Whether it's to homeschool or not, I'm still figuring out. I have no idea. But one of my pet peeves is like, I'm a nurse. I only work full-time 3 shifts a week. And part-time, I work 2 shifts a week. And so when people make those comments like, well, you're already home this many days a week, like, why do you want to be home more or things like that? I'm like, what does it matter to you? Like, it's not your money. It's not your... in fact, I'm helping someone else I watch my sister's kids twice a week. Like, I don't want to pat on the back or anything, but that's what I do in my time off. And that's how God is allowing me to use this season of having more time of home to bless people, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to say that. But like, there's no sense in making anyone feel guilty about it. Like, my sister has to work in order to provide for her family because she's by herself. There's nothing wrong with that.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I think the absolute worst thing that we can do is take a woman who's at home with kids all day and struggling,
make her feel bad,
or at work all day trying to do something else for the sake of providing for her family, right? At whatever, and already feeling guilty about that and shame them for it. Like that. Like, why would you do that to one another?
They're both hard. They're both very hard things.
So just like, anyway, I just wanted to make sure we said that, and you guys gave me the opportunity. So I don't know that I'll do that much more, but
go for it.
You know, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta be better.
It's super
we gotta be better.
It's disheartening
people.
when you walk away from it too. It's like, then you question, like, maybe I should be working. Like, maybe that. I don't know.
No, you don't need to question. You question yourself enough.
Yeah. Amen.
Okay. So let's get to
text Jessica with those questions.
Nope.
Have you ever felt completely unseen or invisible as a mom?
I put yes, but I don't know exactly how to answer. Like, yes, I have, but I don't know how to explain it.
I think the easiest thing to think of is like postpartum, like whenever you're, again, hormonal, but like
just keeping afloat.
Yeah. And I think like your mind's so like messed up and you're not sleeping and all the things, but like even in different seasons of life, like you just like, you are the one that has to, like, you have to keep going. Like, you can't just like quit.
No other choice.
Right.
Yeah. So you're like still doing it. And I think from the outside, it looks like, she's got it all together.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's something like I've struggled with is like, I am doing all the things. And it might look that way for you on the outside, but
the inside is not well.
Yes. Yeah. There are sacrifices that I'm also making to do these things. And not that I need anyone to come and say like, oh, I see you. But like, especially, it's just a hard, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you feel like you can't talk about it because then you're complaining.
Yeah.
And so that's hard. I don't know.
But, you know, again, that's one of the goals for today is to talk through those things that are hard and help people see that, you know, you can look calm and collected on the outside. And, you know, that's what the world wants us to do. You know, have super mom, have it all figured out and everybody's dressed nice and, you know, whatever. And the reality is it's harder than that. And people don't see it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will confess, I didn't see everything Carissa was doing sometimes until afterwards, or, and you mentioned you guys going on vacation, and watching your kids for a couple of days. There's stuff I forgot.
Yeah.
And I have not been out of this season for, but 4 or 5 years, and I'm not ready to go back anytime soon.
Well, I am having a baby soon, and you will have all my children.
I'm looking forward.
It's like just for a few days.
Just a few days.
Fun Uncle Chris. Funkle Chris is a good place to be.
You can do anything for 3 days.
You can do anything for 3 days. Yep. That part's good. But yeah, that's the thing. You don't realize how often they ask for a snack. You don't realize how disciplined you have to be to say, no, we're not going to do that right now. We're going to go outside, or we're going to come inside. Everybody's outside right now. I know you want to go inside and play a game, but we're not, and it's just, it's a constant drip it requires so much.
We had a friend just this week. Was so kind and like complimented that my children, it's like hear me when you say it, I say this, like they're so good at saying like please and thank you.
Yeah.
And like that's so reassuring to hear, because I feel like all I do is say
use your manners.
Yeah.
Be kind. Be polite.
Try again. Like please, thank you. And like you just feel like you're nagging them all day, and that's all you do. And so to see like the fruit of that, like someone from the outside, it's like, oh, look at these like polite kids. And I'm not claiming they're polite all the time, because they're not. But like, again, just for someone to be like, oh, look, good job, you're doing that. I'm like,
it's like, oh, what I did has worked.
That I just screamed at them for not saying it for the 10th time.
Yeah.
So yeah, the hidden things that other moms are feeling.
Especially when you're not around.
Yeah. How do you take care of yourself in the middle of taking care of your child? Just while we're on that topic.
Do you?
Pray they go to sleep and take a nap so they can breathe, I guess. Right. I don't know.
I mean, this is real. I mean, and I'm getting tired of, maybe it's just because I'm getting old and crotchety. That's probably it. But I'm getting tired of the mental health and, like the terms around it. There, until society comes up with a better term that I like, I'm forced to use it, so I will. But how do you take care of your mental health when you're doing this? Like, how do you personally do it? And then I'm leading up to the question of how do those around you? You mentioned just a kind word from a friend who says your kids are good at saying please and thank you. You can live on a compliment like that for days, right?
Until your kid comes home and says, give me that drink.
Yeah. So let's talk about your individual journey, like say personal work towards taking care of your mental health first.
I'd say being outside, but that's just like our lifestyle too, is like living outside. But gosh, sunlight can do so much for your mental. But I think setting out the time, and realizing I may think I want sleep. And I mean, at some point you need sleep, but also I can wake up 30 minutes or an hour before my kids to be a nicer human and to read my Bible and get straight and drink a cup of coffee. Right. Partially, before partially before somebody wakes up, instead of being mad, starting the day mad, I haven't even had a sip of my coffee yet.
Yeah.
So I think you have to force yourself to do it. I agree. I'm just the mental health is hard for me. I'm you just choose, make a different choice. I don't know what.
Yeah.
And that's again the hard thing I struggle with is I don't have it all together at all, and I'm not claiming that I do. But at some point, you have to this is your life,
pull up
choice.
Bootstraps and keep going.
It's a reality.
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, this is your reality. Yeah. This is where you're living it.
You something's not working, fix it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's not really
work the garden.
What people want to hear a lot of the times. But
okay, that's fair. How about you, Preslee?
I am learning thanks to my wonderful neighbor, Cherith. She was always Preslee, you have to take a break. You have to take care of yourself. Yes, there's laundry that needs to be done, but go and do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I feel really guilty because I'm there's 2 days a week, 24 hours which doesn't sound like much, but like 24 daylight hours that I don't get to see my children in a week, to leave them again, I just feel so terrible. And like, especially when Blakely gives me the, oh, but mommy, I didn't want you to leave me again. I'm like, I know, I didn't want to leave either. But my mother-in-law, she always, for like Mother's Day or my birthday or something, she writes me a little check and she's like, go get a pedicure. Like, go take care of yourself. Go spend money on you.
Yeah.
Don't go to the store and buy your kids a new shirt. Go to the store and buy you a new shirt.
Yeah.
And so before we went to Florida, I was just like really done. And Derek was like, listen, go get that check, go cash it, and go get a pedicure, because you're just like, you need a break.
Yeah.
And I was so thankful he realized that. But then in that moment, like, I was only gone for maybe an hour and a half or two. And I went and got a coffee.
Yeah.
From Scooters. I hate coffee. But it was good. And
But that's interesting. And I want to build on that. So you got the coffee, right? Not because of the coffee. You got the coffee because of the time.
yeah, I just had
And the
like
space.
yes.
Yeah.
I even like
Yeah. The freedom.
yes.
Yeah.
I even like came out of the nail place and Scooters. It's by the old Aldi area, and Scooters is to the left. And I started to turn right, and I was like, no, like she gave you this much money, like go use it for yourself. And I went and got a Caramelicious blender, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
Any
like
coffee
ice
in
cream.
there?
I don't think so.
It's like ice cream. And so I don't know. I just drove home and I called Derek and I was like, I just went and got a coffee. I was like, that was so nice. And then I came home. But after doing that, I realized how much more pleasant I was with the girls. And like, I wanted to do more. Like, I had just filled myself just enough to like just love them better. And I was like, okay, I do need to like step out and do something on my own. Because even if I'm like doing a workout, like they're there.
Yeah.
Blakely is a pro at push-ups now.
Yeah.
She loves doing high knees with me. She like, even going to do a workout, I don't get away, which is fine. But I did realize like, okay, maybe once a month I need to go on a walk outside by myself. Like just be alone. I didn't turn on the radio.
No
Like
headphones.
I needed to be alone with my thoughts and just bored.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
It was nice. Not play on my phone, just brain dead.
So the takeaway I'm getting from this, right, is you have to discipline yourself to prioritize time away.
Yeah.
Is that?
But it feels so wrong
Yeah.
too. And I think you have to like kind of work past that too. Like,
okay.
because, and I think, I mean, being a good mom, like I can be the mom I am because of my husband. And so I think that having a partner that can say like,
They see that you need that break.
yes, and are willing to, like you said, like they just worked, Lee gets up at 5 and worked a whole day with people. Like I get to choose the people adults I spend my day with. He does not.
Right.
And I know it's not fun.
Right.
And I also tell him, enjoy your 45-minute drive home with silence too.
Yeah.
You know,
Soak it in.
And
yeah.
there's another podcast episode around being a dad of preschool kids, and I'm actually just having that idea right now. Wouldn't it be cool if we had Derek and Leon and we just talked to them about their perspectives?
I don't know if I want to know his perspective on me.
I think that'd be good.
That'd be fun.
But they are, as you've talked through, right? Derek critically kind of supported you in that. Like, you need this right now. Go do it. Right?
Yeah.
He always says like, you're so good at making sure I get to go disc golfing or doing something. Like, yeah, I know.
So,
But like if they're not there to like accept it, like right now it's nice out. I mean, it's 100 degrees, but it's nice. We have a pool. He gets home, he eats his cheese roll up snack, and he goes outside with the kids, and I make dinner like in peace for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But sometimes like I can feel so guilty about that too. Like Leo'll say like, I'm going to Tractor Supply to get feed. Like, come on, kids. I'm like, oh, but I'll come with you. And he's like, no, like you have 30 minutes to yourself. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, I'll come with you. Like, it's like the FOMO.
Yeah.
Of my children.
I kind of got the FOMO. Like,
So-
don't let me miss out too. You
Yes.
guys are going to have fun.
So it is a hard, like,
Balance.
yes. And then if you get a moment to be alone, you're like, what do I do?
yeah.
What list do I check off? Right
Yeah.
now?
Did you watch,
What do I clean next?
yeah, I'm opening a can of working. Have you watched The Middle?
It's been like in college.
Yeah. It's a very funny take
Yeah.
on stereotypes of a modern
Don't
kind
watch
of
it.
Midwestern house. What?
Yeah.
Don't watch it?
I'll have to.
Yeah. And it's funny. The mother at one point, she has some time to herself and she's like, what do I do? Whatever. So she basically starts cleaning and then she gets so frustrated moving from job to job to job of stuff that didn't get done that when everybody came home from giving her a break, she actually didn't get a break.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, what are we doing here?
And you do it to yourself. So I
Right.
think that's where the discipline comes into place.
But there are people who are in your life who want to support you and encourage you in this. And so who are those people? Where does the help come from? And we've talked about your husbands respectively, but I mean, we've said the mother-in-law, she does the pedicure thing, right? And we've watched your kids a little bit, so I know there's some of that there. But for those who are listening who know people with preschoolers in their lives, right? How can they help? Where does it come from for you? Where it actually helps?
Isn't that sad? I don't know. I don't know how to be helped.
Well, that's what part of the reason I'm.
Yeah.
Maybe I ask maybe somebody who's gone through it, that question.
I feel like, okay, reword the question.
If you are in it and someone has helped you,
Like, where does that kind of break come from?
where does the help come from?
The Lord.
Oh, I set you up for that, didn't I? Dang it.
But I will say, my friends are a huge help.
Yeah.
Even when
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have our kids and we all get together, we went to a friend's house last week and Jessica and I just sat on the board. It was maybe 10, 15 minutes and we just rattled off to each other.
Yes.
And even that is just a little,
Yes.
I was able to talk to another adult.
Yeah.
I was able to spit the words out that are in my brain
Yep.
and have conversation with somebody.
Yep.
Even though my kids were there and
Yeah. Mine were inside.
ours were split
I
up.
was neglecting
I was watching
mine.
the ones outside, and there were other people inside.
people
So
outside,
we
yes.
let them.
Yeah.
we divide and conquer, and I think spending time with our friends helps a
Yeah.
lot because we do this middle of the night girls hangout too, where
Yes. I don't know how or why.
no,
But
we don't sleep anyways.
yeah.
But we get together at after bed. We put our kids to bed, and then we all meet at one house, and we stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning talking to each other. And then
That's
go home and
fantastic.
usually hang out the next day.
Yeah. I know.
So the support group of like-minded people
Yeah.
is super important.
But you
Yeah.
have to put yourself out there to
Yep.
get that. You
Yeah.
can't just shelter in place.
Yep. Yeah.
It was it's not,
Mhm.
it's easy being their friends. It's not easy. I don't know how to word it. You have to be involved. You have to set up the play dates too. You have to, you can't just expect everybody to come to you
Yeah.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
just okay, Lord, I'm praying for friends. Send them to me. You need to go out and you need to find yourself those friends
Yeah.
with the Lord's help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, it makes I mean, you have to have a relationship with somebody
It's
Yeah.
a
to
two-way
allow
street.
them to pour into you or to
Classic
pour into them.
accessories. People don't care what you know till they know that you care.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yes. And I think that's where having somebody in your life is in the same season of you.
Yeah.
I remember and I still feel so guilty about this. There was a woman and I love you and I'm sorry. But she I was struggling whenever I had our third and I had told some women that. And so she offered to let me take your kids. I'm okay, sure, I'll set up a date. And then it's no, let me. I'm it's okay. It just, and so there's people who do try and
You have to be receiving of it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's why I had to
I
break
don't
into
know.
her house.
Yeah.
that's an interesting question and thought.
So I don't know.
You were talking, and well, I'm gonna probe here. I'm gonna push you a little bit because I think it's important that we figure it out together or try to anyway. You mentioned Cherith, your neighbor. So I had shared with her that I was going to interview you today and asked for her support and my wife's support naturally over the question set that had kind of worked through. And one of the questions or comments that she had made was, how do you explain to people what you need? Like what would actually be helpful?
Mm-hmm.
And she told this story of her husband coming home one time and getting right in, like jumping right into the mix of helping,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I'm helping. I'm being the supportive husband. I've put my day behind me. I can see the house is crazy right now. And I'm going to do a thing, whatever. Let's just say they're making dinner and I'm going to help make dinner,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. That's not the help I want,
Yeah.
she said. I want you to come in. I want you to greet me.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to give me a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to ask me how my day was. And then ask me what I need. And I'm thinking that makes sense to me, but it's sort of counterintuitive because, you know, as dudes and support agents, we see a problem and we're like, let's solve it. Let's solve this problem. I'm going to be a hero.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill that dragon for her and she's going to love me because I did this, right? Or the person who offers help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you realize you need the help, you want the help, but when it's offered, you're like, well, I want help, but I don't want that help.
Yeah.
It kind of puts people in a catch-22. So
Yeah.
how do you, or how can someone ask for help? And what would they say? Or how can, you know,
I don't know. I feel like I offer it to people, and so then, but I don't know, like I'm not good at like receiving it.
How do you offer it? That when it's received, maybe we can start there.
I think
Oh my
it
gosh,
goes-
I'm going
go
to
ahead.
interrupt
Go.
because when I had Millie, she came over and she just opened my dryer and started folding my laundry. And I'm like, I love you so much.
But you have to have that relation. That's what I'm
Yes.
thinking. I'm
You
like,
can't do it to just anybody.
yes.
But like, she knows I would have said no if she asked me.
Yeah.
So she's like, I know like this is something you don't want to do right now. So I'm just going to fold your laundry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell me no because
Yeah.
I'm already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
she's amazing. That's all.
I was gonna say, like, if someone like came and brought me dinner, like, and just dropped it off, like, here you go, here's a meal. I'm like, oh, it's okay, you don't have to do it. Like, it's fine. Like, we have stuff for dinner. But in reality, you just saved me like an
So much
hour of
time.
like prep
Yeah.
and cleanup and like the dishes of it all. Like, that is a huge blessing, but you don't want to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to, like, the meal train that our church does is
She
like
signs up on
Yeah.
everyone.
the best
Yes.
thing. They're like, I can't wait to have this baby and not cook for 2 weeks.
Literally.
Yeah.
And yeah, because like it's just like you're not asking them in that situation, like, hey, can I bring you a meal? Because they're gonna say like, oh,
They're
it's
gonna say
okay.
no.
No,
Yeah,
we're good.
like
we're good.
we are. This is the day we're coming. This
It's
is the time we're coming.
Yeah.
This
This
is
is
it.
happening.
This is what you're getting.
I had a
Yes.
coworker who used to call it customer service at gunpoint. You know,
Basically.
like
Yeah.
you're going to be helped today. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
help you. So what's it going to be?
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot through that, but you know, trying to apply that here, it's tough because
Mhm.
because especially when we've already talked through the guilt and the things that you're
Mhm.
trying to work through, the pressures that you have for everything to go just way, there's sort of an acknowledgement that everything isn't organized, and I don't
Yeah.
want to I don't want to be vulnerable with that random stranger, or I don't want to explain to somebody how, or I don't want somebody to see
Yeah.
where things are, maybe the train might be coming
Messy.
off the tracks a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is messy.
Yeah.
I have kids who live
Yeah.
here. What do you know? The house is a mess,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
So how about this? What advice would you give to somebody who wants to encourage a young mom but doesn't know how? Just encourage you.
I tell everyone, I'm like, I did not do this. And it's a little easier to get away with it with your first child. But after that, like if somebody offers you help, just accept it
Mhm.
and be thankful. Like they wouldn't offer it if they didn't want to. And if they didn't want to, then they shouldn't have offered it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
That's a
You need
wonderful,
take the help.
that's a
because
wonderful piece of advice. Because there's a
It's
blessing in it.
exhausting.
Have you ever
Yeah.
helped somebody and
Yeah.
felt good
Yeah.
about it? Right. You just trust that somebody is willing
Yeah.
to do that.
Mhm.
And it, like, I love Jessica. But like I hate cleaning my house. But I wanted to clean her house so bad because I knew how bad she was struggling. Like we were
Yeah.
talking about it every single day. I was praying for her every single day. I'm like, I know she's not sleeping. I know she's not. She got this little checklist that she does every night. And I'm like, at least just leave the checklist for me to do for you tonight.
Yeah.
And like I want to do that. No,
Mhm.
I hate cleaning my house, but I want to do it for someone else. I want to ease that on them.
Yeah.
Because I know how miserable it is. Like, let me bless you and give you a break because I know she's going to return that favor. And I don't expect anybody to return a favor, but I know that she's going to.
That's community.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
You know, parents to our premarital counseling, Carissa and I talked to, it's not 50-50. It's 100-100. Like you show up to this relationship and I'm going to give you 100% of me. And I'm expecting 100% of you. And there are times when that other person is going to give you 80. And you're still going to get 100. And I'm only going to give 80 sometimes. And they're still going to get 100. So that's the beauty, I think, of the relationship.
When my
you
friends
just
got
described.
married, I actually made a sign and it said 100 plus 100 equals 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, that's our saying. So we made a sign for her and gave it to her for when and everybody's like, that doesn't make sense. We're like, you'll get it one day.
You'll get it. It'll make sense.
Yeah.
It'll make sense. All right. Yeah. What's something you secretly dread doing with your child, even though you're supposed to enjoy it?
Bedtime.
Bath time. I'm using pregnancy to my advantage right now. And so Lita's like 100% of the bath.
I can't get on the floor and scrub him.
Yep, can't do it.
It's you, bud.
But he hates it too. So I'm like, one of us has to suck it up tonight.
It's like the media around the cute little kid in the bathtub with soap and suds on him. Like, what a crock.
No, they just want to play. They don't want to be washed.
Scream.
Yeah. When it's time to get out, they're just mad.
They're
and then
cold
they run
and
around
yelling.
naked and pee on the floor.
Yes.
Like, back in the bathtub. Now we're also mopping. Cool.
At least when it's in the bathtub, I can't tell.
Oh, man. Is there a failure moment in your parenting that ended up being a valuable lesson for you? Yep, Presley's got one.
Sometimes I've taught Blakely, like, I'm not saying I play on my phone all the time, but sometimes I do play on my phone when my children are around.
Sure.
And I've taught Blakely, I'm like, you just go up to, I make her do it to my sister all the time. I'm like, you go up to them nicely and you say, please put your phone down. I want your attention. She does it to me.
Ouch.
I'm like, okay, that was meant for other people, not for me.
No.
But
Yeah.
I need it. I need that reminder too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because Derek will get home and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just going to take 5 minutes and look at my phone. And 10 minutes later, she's like, okay, mommy, can you please get off your phone and give me your attention? I'm like, ouch.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
I will.
solid.
Like, I need that reminder.
That's solid.
It's funny when she does it to other people though.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel bad. And I'm like, well, can't hurt that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything.
Yeah, I'm like, I know there's a bunch, but I
Yeah.
can't think of them.
Yeah.
I don't
Do you have a potty training hack?
Oh, gosh.
Naked.
Do like the 3 days at home,
Mm-hmm.
completely butt naked.
Yeah.
Take
Really?
your toilet everywhere.
Just follow them around for 3 days.
Yeah. Treats. Some people don't believe in that.
Bribe.
I'm like, I got some M&Ms for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Juice. Make them pee.
It's a philosophical question in the sense that how do you convince another person to defecate somewhere other than their pants?
Right? I don't know.
Like that doesn't belong on the floor, does it? It belongs in this here contraption that we've created.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know.
How scary. Flush and
I'm just
everything.
hoping the nursery teachers take care of it on Sundays for my third. Like, could you just figure that out? The 3 hours she's in there today.
Oh.
I'm not.
What's a parenting hill you were prepared to die on, but now you've kind of completely let go of? And I'll prime the pump a little bit by saying, before we had kids, there was a church class offered on like Tuesday nights, and we didn't, like I said, no kids. And so we were like super judgy.
Yeah.
Right. And
I would never let my kid do
right.
that.
Well, yeah, I'll do one better. The class title was Scream Free Parenting. Right. And it's like, what kind of a parent screams at their child? What kind of parent? I'm never going to do that.
Never.
We're going to parent with love and grace, and it's going to be so quiet in our home. And,
Right.
you know, a few years later, we ate that crow.
Yeah.
And we don't yell a lot, but it happens. And, so.
That makes me think of one of the questions you had earlier was like, if you had a sitcom title, what would it be? I put Tears and Tiaras.
Tears and Tiaras. That is good for you. I think the schedule, like for us, shocker again, my control. Like I said, whenever Sammy was a baby, we had laminated instructions for my sister-in-law.
I just love that, and I wish I had a copy.
As if neither of them raised four wonderful children on their own. But it was my way of controlling the situation. As if they looked at it or did anything while I was gone all day. I don't know. But now, like, we didn't get home till 10:30 last night. We have a 1-year-old, like, whatever.
She'll be fine.
She'll be fine.
That's probably why they were sleeping when you left.
So, yeah, I don't know. Because life happens, like, in the between. Like, yes, I have a newborn, but I also have a 6, 4, and 2-year-old.
That have to do something else during the day.
They can't watch you all day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that was something too, as I was thinking through that question, when you have one child, nap time is a priority. When you have two children, nap time is still a priority because one child can have a nap and the other child can be doing something structured, whatever. You can spend time with them and keep the house quiet.
Yeah.
Third child comes around.
Yep. No.
It's off the table. I mean, they might get a nap. They might not.
Yeah.
The house might be quiet. They might not. And that's kind of how the second and third kids also get to be kind of so savage because they put up with,
Let me tell you. That second child.
Yours happened early.
Gosh.
Okay, so we're winding down here. What moment, big or small, recently made you think, okay, maybe we're doing this right. Maybe we're figuring this out.
Probably the other day when we were out and they're like, I'm so thankful that like your kids have such good manners. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's nice to hear. Actually, somebody came up to me last night and was like, you're doing such a good job as a mom. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet because at Bible study on Wednesday, I was begging for prayers because I'm like, I do not know how to control these maniacs. Like, I don't want to yell at them. I can't just let him get away with it. But she said that and I was like, oh, like somebody sees something. I must be doing something right. Yeah. It's just a breath of fresh air.
And a word from a mentor, a word from somebody close to you that you respect or whatever. It goes so far.
And they've raised wonderful children. I'm like, wow, that was just what I needed right now.
Yeah. Gosh, but it just, goes back to like you have to have a relationship with those people. Because like some random person saying it versus
someone who truly sees your children a lot.
Someone who knows you. Yeah. Because like, and I'm not like a words of affirmation person, but like you and Carissa are so good about saying like, you're doing a good job. Like every time we leave, like you're doing a good job. And like, sometimes like, it's like, okay, we're just trying to like get in the car. Yeah. But other times like I need to hear it. And like, you need to hear it from somebody who sees you and knows you, knows your kids, knows your heart. Like it just hits different to know.
What is your love language? Are you wait, let me guess. You are
probably need to take the test again.
Acts of service? Acts of service?
It has changed to acts of service.
Okay.
Like for my husband to do it, but not for some random person to come help me.
I don't feel validated when you do it. I reject that. How about you, Preslee? What's your love language?
Acts of service.
Are you? Yeah. Okay. You feel like that was a change? It's always been acts of service.
I feel like it's always been that.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
I guess.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, it's good to know who you're in relationship and how they feel loved, right? Yeah. Not necessarily even in romantically, right? It's just, I'm not going to waste my time complimenting you if it's not going to
do anything.
Right?
Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes don't give up yet.
Yeah. But if you want to give me a gift of food, I will happily accept.
That is.
If you just want to buy me a new, like, no, I don't need anything. I don't have room in my house for that.
That's a funny story. Derek's mom, when I had Blakely, was like, are you going to get her a push present? Like, your dad always bought me jewelry.
Okay, I'm going to stop you. What is a
I had never heard of it.
What is it?
You push a baby out, you get a present.
A push present?
A push present. And so
I thought you get a baby. That's the present.
You deserve something for that push.
Sorry, I know. I'm just stoking the fire.
For like their side of the family, they're like, oh, we always got jewelry. And Derek is like, he came home and told me this story. He's like, I was like, Preslee wanting jewelry. That's hilarious. Like, I'll get her a chocolate milk and a Casey's breakfast pizza.
Right.
And I was like, that is it.
There you go.
You know me. You love me.
Thank you.
Like, I don't want a necklace. I don't wear necklaces. Yeah. When you put this ring on my finger, I was so uncomfortable for months trying to figure out how to just keep it on there and not mess with it. Like Casey's breakfast pizza and chocolate milk all the way. That is what I want after every birth. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Noted. Bring it to the hospital.
How about you, Teeny? Anything made you pause and think recently? Maybe we're doing something right.
Yeah, we were on vacation a couple months ago and had like just put the baby to sleep, and the kids were waiting to watch like a movie on the couch for us, and they were like trying to like retell the story. Like Sammy was like, I remember when those like people were there and like the like sea like opened up, and he goes, yeah, it was the Red Sea, and Sammy's like, yeah, that's what it was, and they're like retelling this like story together, and like Lee and I were in different rooms and just like looked at each other like, okay,
we're doing it.
Something's happening.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just
shout out to all the Sunday school
right,
teachers.
amen.
Because when they come home and tell those stories, I'm like, who taught you that? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, you know the story better than me.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I just like, I don't know, Lee and I stop, and it's not us. Like, it's everybody in the community around us. But like, to think of like where my kids are at compared to like where I was at, I'm like, those like stories like weren't, and they're taking them as much as they can right now, like at their age. Like, I wasn't there till I was like 20 or older, you know, and like this is where they're at. Like, to only imagine like what he's gonna do in their lives.
Yeah.
To like go through the Awana verses with them, and then 2 weeks later they spit it out. You're like, this is, I can't even remember those now. This is amazing. Like,
yeah. Okay, last question, and I'm going to give you some time to think about it because I'm going to preach a little bit here too, because I'm just so thankful to have this time with you. I'm thankful for your honesty and like your transparency. This is hard. You're in a season of life that's hard, and despite how easy you're making it look, right?
I hate to people say that.
I know, right? Right? It's you remember that Jim Gaffigan bit? He's a comedian, and they're like, you want to know what 4 kids is like? Imagine you're drowning and someone hands you a baby. You know,
I can swim pretty well.
Sammy just learned how to swim.
Yeah. So the question is, and I'll give you time to think about it, is if you could give one brutally honest piece of advice to a new mom that no one else might say out loud, what would it be? And while you think about that, I'm going to give a brutally honest piece of advice to some men who are listening, who are supporting their wives, and that's 1 Peter 3:11. Husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way. Live with your wives in an understanding way means this stuff that we're dealing with here, that we're talking about right now, is the stuff that you must understand. Gentlemen, your wives need you. These children won't raise themselves, and the work that they're doing is absolutely critical. So I'd say it's brutally honest because there's not a lot of people who are willing to say that out loud right now. Yeah. And so I will say it, and I mean it. And if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to talk with you more about it. All right, I've given you some time to chat. Think through this, ladies. One brutally honest piece of advice to a new mom that no one else might say out loud. Preslee, I think, says some things that no one might say out loud anyway.
That's
what would it be?
We love her.
This is just my parenting philosophy. Sometimes you do have to let them cry.
Okay.
It won't ruin them because you need to teach them how to get through it. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't let my 2-week-old baby cry it out. But sometimes you have to let your baby cry. I understand that my 2-year-old doesn't want to sleep in their bed by themselves. I don't like to sleep in my bed by myself, but it's a part of life. And if I'm going to complain about having to share a bed with a kid, then I'm going to have to do something hard and my kid's going to cry.
Yeah.
And I said, you need to teach them to respect you, because if they don't respect you, they won't respect those around you. And it's possible to do that in a respectful way. Like, you don't have to scare them into being respectful kids. You don't have to put fear into them like that. If they make a mistake, you're going to hate them forever. But like, you can do that in a loving way and not let your children push you around.
Yeah.
And then I said, hold on, let me read it before I say it. Oh, also, if you wouldn't say something about another mother and how they're caring, then don't say it about yourself. So like, yeah, I don't know. If you wouldn't say it about yourself, like, oh, I feel so bad that I took my kid to the nursery. Like, do you think I'm a horrible mother? Like, do you think I'm a horrible mother? My kid's in the nursery.
That's right.
No, you don't think I'm a horrible mother. So no, you're not a horrible mother.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't think it about someone else, don't think it about yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, those are good. I feel like I'm like a broken record, but I would say before you have a child, like, for you and your husband to get right, I think it just, I see the difference that it makes being a team and being on the same page and encouraging each other and having a relationship where we're not drowning whenever, you know, we have a new baby and like our lives get flipped upside down. Like, yeah, it's hard, but we're not like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's not a relationship that I have to fight for constantly because I've made choices to have fought for it in the past.
Yeah.
So I think I just can't imagine going into parenting like, and also not having a solid marriage.
Yeah.
I just don't know how people do it. And I know people do it all the time. And I just have, gosh.
Take the easier road.
Yeah. And I know that's not reality for everyone. And like, it just like hurts my heart to see like relationships where they're like not a team and like one of them's doing it like alone. Like, it's just so hard to see because I'm so thankful for what I have. So if you can get that right first.
Some of your best marriage advice to me was like, go home and ask him like, what are your expectations of me? And I was like, and give him your expectations. And I was like, Derek, you do the trash. You do like, help me with the dishes. Like, we'll do the dishes together, but like, I need you to do them too. And then after that point, I was like, wow, this is so nice. Like,
Imagine.
he just didn't.
It worked.
He just
Didn't know
really,
what
like,
you needed.
Yeah.
Or expected.
Yeah.
Instead of just being angry because they don't do anything.
Yeah. And then when they really don't do it, you're like, no, I did relay this expectation to
Yeah.
you. You
We
knew
talked
that
about
it was
this.
needed. Okay. So I'm going to hold it against you and you need to take the laundry out or the trash. Whatever.
Oh, that's fantastic. Like I said, thank you so much for your time today. It really means a lot that you guys would take from 7:00 a.m. on July 5th, right? In this special time when you could be at home doing all the things that we talked through today to spend it with me and work through this together. So thank you so much for coming.
Fun. Thank you.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience before we let you go?
You've got this.
You got it.
Got it. I don't know. Find a friend.
Yeah.
Find the Lord.
Right
Find
on.
a good husband.
Yes. Amen.
All right. This has been the Son of the Law podcast, everybody. Thanks. Have a great day.